This is the 17th season of Bass Talk Live with your hosts, Mark Jeffries and Matt Pangrat. BTL is brought to you by Lowrance, Bass Cat Boats, APCO, Ducket Fishing, Strike King Lures, Sunline, Big Bite Baits, Spro, X-Zone Lures, Yamagatsu, The Bass Tank, and Denali Rods. BTL coming at you. Good Tuesday, everybody. Welcome once again to another edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. Matthew, how you doing?
Jeffries, it is so cold that I chipped my tooth on a can of soup.
What?
It is so cold that I chipped my tooth eating some soup.
Did you really?
No, it's a joke. I've got all these it's so cold jokes pulled up, and I was going to go with it. And you ruined the moment.
I had no idea. Look, dude, I'm just going to throw this up there. That pretty much says it all.
That is an accurate depiction of Mark Jeffries' heart in the early 2000s. Just ice cold in the middle. Just a little semblance of life and heart and warmth around the outside.
Barely beating. You know, but
I say that as a joke.
That is, if you can see the outline there, and folks that are listening on the podcast, on the replay, this map is incredible. This map has never been in the shape that it is in today. It was a record 17 below this morning in Oklahoma City. And, dude, it is pipe-busting, bone-smashing, just incredible weather. And everybody gives me a lot of crap for talking about the weather. But, dude, I'm telling you right now, and here, I'm going to take my mouse. You see the mouse right there? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's Oklahoma.
That's where the White Walkers are. And then the Night King is up there where it's more white. And then the Wall is down here in Florida. You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
No. I'm trying to make a point here. All right, this is Texas. I might as well go ahead and say it. You know, last night we did the test for the Music and Memory show. Everything went flawless. It was really cool, and appreciate everybody's help on that. But KJ, Kelly Jordan, has no power. Pipes are busted, and he does not foresee things getting to the point of where the power's back on until maybe Friday or Saturday.
Holy cow. I mean, he's right down there where Red Crest is going to be, and MLS.
No, he's on the lake. Well, he's on the lake.
They announced yesterday that they're delaying Red Crest by a day.
I was on the phone late last night to some officials trying to get an indication on whether or not this event was going to go down. Now, the extended forecast for next week, because it starts, I guess it starts,
is when they'll be on the water.
Yeah. And
so there's going to be 60 degrees, 33 for the high. Now, granted, they'll be coming off of -1, 21, 9, and 21 for the low. I mean, let's just say I don't think a whopper plopper is going to play.
No, but this is the point that I'm trying to make, Matt. The weather might be okay fishing-wise then, but the damage that has been done this week with all the power outages and everything that has taken place because of this weather, I think they're really going to have to move some mountains to pull this thing off. Now, I could be totally wrong, but with the indications that I got from Kelly, and Kelly was over at a friend's house that had a generator, and the power grid and everything that's going on. And there is a second and third wave coming through. We're going to get the third wave. The second and third wave is going to start here in Oklahoma City at 3 o'clock this afternoon. And we're expecting another 6 to 8 inches of snow, which is going to go down into Texas
Right.
Arkansas, Louisiana. Dude, it is a freaking mess.
When was the earliest that they've had a Grand Lake Classic? That would have been 2013, right?
Yeah, and they had snow.
I know, but we're approaching the time where it would have been. It was February 22nd through the 24th in 2013. So literally,
it wouldn't have happened. They couldn't have had it.
Think about that.
Yeah.
It would literally have been frozen. That's freaking crazy, Mark.
Yeah. There's no way it would have taken place. I mean, I don't know what it's like up your way.
No, it's -11 right here.
Yeah. I mean, you can't fish when it's negative whatever.
It doesn't matter if you could fish, whether it's smart. It's not smart to fish. It's not smart to be out. I mean, you're talking frostbite. You're talking major issues if anything goes wrong. I think that's the biggest thing. Even if you can get to the lake and get on the lake, it's not smart to be on the lake, to be that bundled up and all that stuff. But I mean, it's freaking wild.
But, here's the thing. I don't know if I can zoom this out. And I'm not trying to turn this into the freaking Weather Channel, whatever.
I know. I need to add that on the shirt. I've scrapped the specialty shirt. I sent it to 5 people, and all 5. One of them said they'd buy it. The other 4 went, not your best work. And I should have put weather in there.
Okay. So there's a better look at the entire. Look at that, Matt. And you're going to be down here.
I wish I was down there now. Charlie Hartley's like, hey, come down, let's fish. And then he sends me 19,000 photos of snook and redfish and speckled trout and largemouth. And he's like, life is good. I'm winning and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, Charlie.
Yeah, look where Pete Gluszek is. He's here.
In one of the warmest parts of America right now.
It's like 40 degrees up there.
Wow, that's beach weather.
And then who was it on the instant feedback? Bill in Minnesota. He's up here. -27 with a -50 wind chill, I think is what he said. -56 wind chill. What do you think about that?
I think that's cold.
All right, so go down here. I mean, right now in East Texas.
You're way too into this, Mark.
It's -6.
Right now, I feel like you're like Ron Moore at the Board of Knowledge, where he's talking about fantasy, just like it's your moment and you're freaking living it up.
Is this not the greatest weather map, though, in the history of weather?
Pretty good.
It's very cool. I've found that many years ago. It's advanced and continues to advance.
I need to add it. It needs to say bowling, basketball, weather, and bass fishing.
There you have it.
See, that's what the shirt looked like. You can kind of see that, right?
Yeah. Would you guys buy that? Throw it out there. I want to know.
It got scrapped because it says it like that. And I mean, I could add, so it would say bowling, basketball, smaller, weather, and then bass fishing at the bottom. It'd be a one-time only shirt. Yeah. But like I said, like the 5 people that I trusted, I said it to, 4 of them were like, nah, not my cup of tea.
Well, let's see what the fans think. If they want it, we'll print it up. If you don't,
the other one is just going to be BTL at the front. I think.
Hang on. There's a little bit of reflection there. Here, let me see if I can blow you up. I might be able to blow it up a little bit.
Is that better?
That
blew you up, Mark.
No, hang on. There we go. So it's kind of hard to read. Anyway, you get the idea there.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yes or no on that. So the other one would just be BTL on the front, and then the back would say bass fishing and anything else we want to talk about. But I wanted to kind of do a specialty T-shirt for you, and this would be like a one-time only deal because, like I said, we're doing like a little pop-up store thing.
Yeah, and folks, don't get too crazy. We've got some stuff that's just the logo, and that's it.
Yeah. See, it's a poor effort on my part. Yeah, poor effort. Everyone's saying it sucks. Yeah, I mean, we got a bunch of standard stuff. We got the Richardson 112 hat, clean long sleeve stuff with just BTL, and that's it across it. There's literally 5 things. So I will be making that call today.
Man, Dave on the instant feedback, not Dave Rush, Dave, who's on here every single day, man, he gets a little upset with us when we start talking about other things. He's like, stop talking about the swag. I think swag's really important. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, swag is important.
Come on, Dave. We love you, dude, but geez. It's all right. It'll be okay. Anyway, today, good show. We're going to have Pete Gluszek on. A lot of cool stuff going on over on the Bass University, and we will talk to Pete about a lot of the upgrades and a lot of the change that is going to take place because of COVID, because of other challenges that his company is dealing with over the past year, and really kind of what the future looks like in the Bass University seminars. So I know you've been to them, haven't you, Matt?
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
There are several Bass University seminars that I've been to where the guys who are giving seminar talks are out in the lobby or whatever BSing, and the next guy starts talking, and all of a sudden they're snuck in the side and they're listening in the back, looking at each other going, my God, I can't believe he's actually saying this. Like, I mean, they're legitimately shocked at some of the info that these guys give out because it's stuff that they've wanted to know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's legit stuff. I mean, it's how whatever you want to get out of it. You can sit there and sleep through it and get your little pack with your sponsor stuff at the end of it, or you could sit there and meticulously take notes and ask questions in the breakout sessions and all sorts of stuff. So,
I gotcha.
Fair point.
Yeah, I can remember going to one of the very first ones that they had in the DFW Metroplex. It was at the Hilton Hotel, not the Hilton Garden Inn, but there's this really big Hilton Hotel that's not too far from Bass Pro Shops. They're in Grapevine, and that's where they had the first one. And, dude, it was jam-packed. Jam-packed.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to get a temperature of
see.
the BTL viewers. A lot of people asking for just a polo with the smaller logo. Yes, it is very basic BTL on a garment. That's it. Like no lettering down the sides, back, anything. No jumping fish. No multiple tribal patterns. Nothing.
No, none of that.
It's like, here's a shirt. Here's the BTL logo.
That's pretty much it.
And why is swag important? Because I'm fishing 9 opens this year. That's why swag's important.
Are you doing the jersey? A lot of people want to know if you're doing the jersey.
No. Not going the jersey route. Not going to do it.
Right.
Here's the only way that I see the jersey would be important, Mark, is if I frickin' win one. And then you have to have a photo with everything on it. But I'll just do a photo shoot of me wearing the different stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or look, Brian New didn't have a jersey. Look what he did.
Well, he had a jersey this past week.
Yeah, but not when he qualified. I don't think he did.
I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is. Let's see here.
BTL socks. No, we're leaving that to Ike. Go over to Ike's site. You get 20% off of his custom socks.
Yeah. By the way, his little telethon, very, very cool. It raised over $30,000. So outstanding effort by everybody over there. I know Becky and her staff just put an enormous amount of effort into that event. It's really grown. I remember the first year that he had the Ike Foundation tournament there in Philly. It was very, very cool, and it's really turned into something.
When is that again?
Is helping. I don't know. I don't know when it's scheduled for this year.
Foundation.org.
Maybe Pete will know.
Upcoming events. The Pro-Am Bass Tournament is June 5th. I should do that this year because I'll be out there on that coastal area, I believe, won't I?
I'm looking.
It's June 5th. What's my schedule?
You will not. I'm looking at it right here.
I won't. I'll be home.
Yep. Well, the Classic will be going on.
Wait, he's doing it on top of the Classic?
No, the Classic is 2 weeks after. Or a week after. Anyway. All right. Anything else, Matthew?
No, we know that they postponed the Red Crest for a day. They've postponed several of the BFLs and Costas.
And that's why, right there.
Yeah, that's why right there. I'll tell you what, I really like what Major League Fishing does with their day 5. It just reminded me because a new season, and Skeet was out there. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't pay nearly as much attention to that tournament as I did the Bassmaster Elite Series. But,
Yeah.
then you get back, and that day 5 kind of gives Skeet that platform to really break down what he did. And Kyle does a great job doing that. So that was interesting. I think this past weekend, before we get too far away from it, Mark, we have a couple seconds. Do you not think it really reiterated how important fantasy fishing is for relevance for the fans that are following this on a daily basis?
100% agree.
I mean, I was talking with someone and they were like, do you feel like there was less buzz around the pro circuit event?
Yeah.
And I said, well, kind of. I said, but I mean, you had, think about it. You had Skeet, who, and I'm not exactly sure what his MLF record is on the BPT, but it'd been a while since he won. I think like 2015, 2016.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you had him and Chris Lane in Florida and badass stuff and mega bags going down. And I'm refreshing the Bassmaster page and watching the Bassmaster stuff because I got Patrick Walters and I got Mark Menendez and I got Cliff Prince on my fantasy team. And there's all sorts of stuff going on with Brian New and the rookie. And I just didn't have any skin in that pro circuit game. And if I had skin in the pro circuit game, I'd have had 2 windows open, refreshing it and watching it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's not enough people that play it that justify the cost to run it and to create the prizes and all that. But
I'll tell you what, man, if they do not do fantasy fishing next year, speaking of MLF, I am seriously taking a look to see if there's interest out there in having 10 people for a franchise league with an entry fee and a draft and just limit it to 10 people because the software is out there and available to track it fairly quickly to where it doesn't get complicated. Make it, I don't know, $500, $750, $1,000 entry fee, 100% payback, kind of like bowling, and see if there are 10 people out there that are willing to buy a franchise and do the actual way that I believe that fantasy fishing should be done.
I mean, is it really that expensive to have the system to do all that? I mean,
it's all back end work.
Well, I know, but they're obviously saying that the cost, the time to do that and to run it does not equate the page views and the eyeballs and the time viewed on the live that it would generate, right? Is what they're saying. Do you think they've seriously looked into that? Or
here's the other thing. They may have a big deal in the works with DraftKings or FanDuel. That's the other thing that people might kind of overlook. If that's the case, that's going to be massive.
Yeah.
Massive. So who knows? All right. I wouldn't think it's hundreds and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to put it together, but things are kind of tight right now, and maybe they don't want to put forth the expense. Maybe they don't have a sponsor for it. Who knows? Bottom line is,
you could put a parlay on the tour event.
Well, remember when we had the guy from Fox on, and they have Fox bets.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's eventually.
Put a parlay on a Cliff, a Cliff Prince, Drew Benton, Rick Clunn top 10.
Yeah. See, I got Jake in Ohio already sending me. He said, "You're only looking for 9, Mark. I'm in." So I think there's 10 people, including myself, that would be in for putting a franchise together and having the live draft and do trades. And I think it would be freaking awesome. But I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to that stuff in sports. So it is what it is. We'll see if they have anything in the works. We've had John Acosta on the show before. He has mentioned that fantasy fishing is important to Major League Fishing. So I don't know, man. We'll see. We shall see. I'm looking for Pete in the queue, and Pete is not in the queue yet. That's why I'm kind of dragging this on. Did we not tell him 8:45 Central? We did.
I believe you said quarter till. But I don't know if you specified the hour.
Here he is. He's finally there. He's coming in now. All right, so let's do this.
Sometimes that time gets me. You're like half past quarter till.
Oh. Sorry, dude.
You know what I mean?
I didn't know you were time deficient.
Well, I'm not. It's just easier to confuse when you start doing fractions.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. We'll take a break. Come back with the Dean, Pete Gluszek.
The exclamation point.
That's right, Pete Gluszek.
Pete Gluszek.
Gluszek. All right, we'll explain
that in a minute when we come back.
Yeah, we'll explain when we come back. Everybody stay tuned here on a Tuesday.
The ultimate fishing system starts with Lowrance HDS Live. The best fish finding tools, from Chirp Sonar and Fish Reveal to active imaging and new active target live sonar, and complete touchscreen control from your trolling motor to your big motor. For a limited time, building the ultimate fishing system will be easier on your wallet. Upgrade to HDS Live with a Ghost trolling motor, active target sonar, or live sight sonar and save up to $800.
Basscat's legendary 20-foot platform has been paired with angler-approved accessories for 2021. Puma FTD features the proven hull used by many of the top names in bass fishing today, backed by a transferable lifetime warranty. The Puma FTD boasts a full team deck concept which enhances efficiency for you and your tournament partners. Turnkey tournament-winning performance. The Puma FTD SP from Basscat.
Utilizing my experience, utilizing my time on the water, evolving as an angler, and that evolution should never stop. You have to do it every day. From when you wake up in the morning, you got to be thinking about changing, continually changing every minute, every cast. That's really the premise of fishing the moment.
Everyone, Brandon Polnick here. People always be asking me what I got tied on. And I'm like, X-Zone Lures. And they're like, Brandon, why you got X-Zone Lures tied on? And I'm like, let me show you why. The bite. Get out of there. Get out of there. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's freaking big. Get in here. Oh, God. Giant. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. I think you get the point.
Pro-inspired, pro-designed, tested and proven by legends on the water, dominating the tournament trail for over 50 years. Everything you need, one legendary brand. Strike King.
Hey guys, Major League Fishing Pro Jacob Wheeler here with my new Signature Series line of rods with Ducket Fishing. We have my 7.2 cranking rod right here. Crankbaits can be very fickle, and having the right, having a lot of tip can be too much, and having not enough tip can, lose a lot of fish. So you really got to be careful. There's one or two techniques that I'm really adamant about having the perfect action as a crankbait, especially like a square bill, a DT6. Those medium running crankbaits in the springtime, when those fish's mouth are pretty tough, that's when I'm really on top of having my actions just perfect.
Guys, what makes our Spro lures beat the competition?
I mean, you have to admit, we nailed it with my mixed sticks and rock crawlers.
Man, we've all won money on my plugs.
My Wamic shot put fish in my boat.
One thing's for sure, we all count on our Spro lures to beat the competition.
Designing cutting-edge baits with some of America's top anglers. Spro lures beat the competition. To see the entire lineup, visit a retailer near you or spro.com.
The Ned Rig. What rod should I be using with the Ned Rig? My favorite is the Denali Lithium multi-spin rod. It's our 7'4" length, great Ned Rig rod. It's got a great sensitive tip on it. It's long enough where I can make long casts, which you're usually fishing clear water with a Ned rig, and it's got enough backbone to get those fish in. So check it out, Denali Lithium Series 7'4" multi-spin.
Let's face it, fishing electronics are no longer an afterthought. They've become a necessity. And at the Bass Tank, our experts match you with the right electronics, provide professional installation, and educate you to help maximize your catching results while providing support along the way. Because let's be honest, it's about catching, not just fishing. And when you're ready for better results, join the Bass Tank team. Visit us today on Facebook or go to thebasstank.com.
You've been waiting all week for this, and Sunline wants to make sure you're ready for it with bulk spools of all your favorite fishing lines.
Oh, it's so fun.
Bulk up with Sunline.
All right, we are back on a Tuesday. We are ready to go to our special guest. Real quick, in case you didn't catch it, probably not going to have the Music and Memory show tonight. It just depends. Obviously, the situation that Kelly's going through. If we do it, it's going to be somebody that I get at the last minute, unless I get, people wanting to just hang out and listen to music again.
How many people did you have on last night?
I don't know, there's like 50 people.
That was an hour.
Yeah.
God, I got some chuckles out of that. It's hilarious. You in DJ mode?
Yeah. I love doing it, man. It's music is very, very
if you do
important
it on
to me
the
in my
Bass Zone
past.
site, we always have argued about this. You have to put a giant thing that just is flashing that says live. Because I had a tough time finding the banner to click on it because I don't typically go to the site because I just do the YouTube thing when I'm reading the comments, right? You need to make that banner 8 times as big. Literally, when you go to basso.com, if you're live spinning records, it needs to be this big right there, and it just says live now. And it's easy to click on because I had to go through like 6 banners, and then I clicked on like 2 replays.
What?
I'm helping you out, man, because I know I want as many people to enjoy the tune. Yeah. Like any tune you have, every tune, or is there like a limit to what you can?
My library is limited due to the copyright agreements or the guidelines that I have paid for the licensing fees.
Old school stuff.
No, I mean there's some new stuff too. It's just I don't know how many titles I have access to, but can't do that stuff on YouTube. Major copyright guidelines violation. But with the licensing that is set up, that's why I'm able to do it on the format, the platform that I'm doing. Anyway,
I'm getting some agreement on you need a larger, more, because I'm an idiot when it comes on what to click.
Okay.
Like I don't know what to click when I go to a different
I even did the promo video though, Matt, and put it on YouTube.
I know.
I put it on Facebook.
That's why I went and looked for it.
I tried to be very descriptive.
It was at the top. I'm just saying.
All right, I got it. I'll do that next time. All right, let's bring in our guest now. A favorite for BTL, really good dude, and glad to call him a friend. Pete, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. I was a little late, chiming in this morning. I was trying to get in at 9:45, but that storm that's smashing you guys is smashing the Bass University too. So we had, we had a few fires to put out this morning. So I was,
all right.
Not literal fires, right?
What's that?
Not literal fires.
No, ice and snow, kind of
good.
Opposite of fires, really.
All right, man. It's good to have you back on the show. The reason I wanted to get you back on, some improvements and some really cool stuff going on with Bass University. But I want to talk a little fishing first, and then we'll jump into a lot of the new stuff that you and your staff are going to have on the Bass University. First of all, have you made a decision? What are you fishing this year, Pete?
I am fishing the Northern Opens, and I am cherry picking the rest of my season. And that's a decision I made. I'm super excited about it. We've got so much going on at Bass U, and of course I'm raising my little boy. It's hard for me to be on the road as much as maybe I would like to be, and so I'm doing that. And one of the things that I'm really psyched about is I'm going to be fishing a lot locally. The stuff that I really haven't fished for a lot of years, like the BFLs, are really a strong tournament trail in my area, and the team tournaments, buddy circuits are, they're all over around where we're at here, from Lake Champlain down to Virginia, and as far west as Lake St. Clair. So what I've figured out, Mark, is that the people that are part of the Bass University program, that's where they're at, and they're at these tournaments, and I just want to I want to spend a lot more time fishing this year than I have in the past, and I want to fish some small ball and have fun just fishing tournaments.
Hey,
that's cool.
Mark, real quick, remember yesterday in the show, it reminded me because of what Pete said he was fishing. Remember I said I went on a rant, and maybe Pete will know the answer. I said, when was the last time someone just caught him on a 7-inch ribbon tail worm? Like, you don't hear anybody talk about doing that anymore. Like, can you remember the last tournament that was just Texas rigging a 7-inch, like a power worm or a culprit worm or anything?
The 94 Classic. That's
okay.
That's the last time I remember. Brian Kirchhoff won it on like a culprit worm that he found. I can't remember another tournament that's been won on worm,
So I get a text. From the one and only Charlie Hartley.
Oh, that's right.
I gotta pull it up because it's legendary. I was like, God, I gotta share this with the BTL listeners.
Yep.
So all it says, sorry, I gotta scroll past all that shit. I get a text from Charlie Hartley, and it said, listening to the BTL replay, the James River 2016 Open was won on a 7-inch ribbon tail worm. That's all it says. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm pretty sure Charlie Hartley won the 2016 James River Bass.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I just responded, yeah, but that guy catches them on everything that he throws. I said, rumor is that he throws a tiny torpedo and an old Rogue as well. But yeah, so 2016, Charlie Hartley on the ribbon tail worm won an Open on the James.
I remember it. I remember it well. He was fishing around me, fishing around Ike a little bit, and yeah, that was a great win for Charlie. As I recall, he was throwing it at docks, just like Brian Kirchhoff was throwing it at docks and winning that tournament. But I can't remember. You see that ribbon tail a lot, but you see it in like the Old Monster, the big 10-inch worm, the ledge fishing bite. That's always seems to be a factor in winning those ledge tournaments. At least putting some fish in the boat, not necessarily dominating the tournament, but that was cool. Yeah, Charlie won it on the ribbon tail.
Very nice. All right, Pete, on the instant feedback, a number of people are wanting to know, we thought that you were going to fish the MPFL. It sounds like it was just a business decision to stick closer to home to interact with a lot more stuff that you have going on locally. What are your thoughts?
It's just not the right time for me, is the way, I see it. I've had opportunities to fish the elites and I have opted not to, and I've had, other opportunities, and I just, for the, where I am in my career right now, this is the path that I want to take. I've worked, built Bass University for the last dozen years, and it requires a lot of attention. And, so as such, I'm not going to go ahead and jump up to that next level just now. I figure I got it, after watching Rick Clunn, I think I got 25 more years left in my fishing career. So,
maybe.
I got plenty of time. To make the next step if I ever decide that's what I want to do.
All right, Matt.
A lot of people have already asked today, can they sign up for the Bass U that takes place today?
Absolutely.
Is that something that they need to get done like ASAP if they want to hop on today's Bass U?
Just come on over. Our Bass U today starts at 2 p.m., so you've got plenty of time to catch the first classes. And, of course, Gerald Swindle is going to be headlining, sometime around dinner time today. So you've got plenty of time. Our ticket window will stay open until 5 p.m. Eastern time today. So go over to the bassuniversity.com and you can, get tickets there, and or go to bassu.tv/ticket and get yourself a ticket. Yeah, we are wide open. We've got classes all week this week, guys.
What is this weather going to do to the spring across the country, Pete? I mean, you said you got some cold out there. You travel around and do Bass U's all across the country. Is it going to make the spawn amazing? Is it going to make it tough? What the heck is this ice age going to do to the fishing in March and April?
That's pretty cool, the ice age. Well, we've seen it. The classic example, Matt, is the Dean Rojas record setting event where the cold front sat on us all during practice and preparation for that tournament. It got real cold and miserable and windy and nasty. And then we saw 80 degrees, 80 degrees, 80 degrees, like 3 days in a row. And what happened was, the Lake Toho exploded. Every single female, like it was like turning on a light switch, like that. Okay, it was real cold. Now it's real hot. It must be time to spawn. And they exploded on the banks. And so I think that's kind of what we're going to see at a lot of places. Once this breaks, I think we're going to go right from the Arctic right to, springtime weather, probably faster than we've ever seen it before in a lot of places. So I think it'll be good. I think it'll be bank crashing central, once we're through this.
Wow.
Very, very nice. All right. I have more questions about that, but I want to get back real quick, Matt, to the seminar and some of the stuff that you guys have going on. I'm actually going to pull up here, Pete.
Whoa, is that Ike? That's a weird looking photo, isn't it?
I know. All right. But there's the page, and then they just go to the page, and then they click on this link right here, right?
That's right.
All right. Get started now. They click there, and then you can do your sign-up option. So super, super easy. Are you running any specials right now?
Right now on, for the classes, we got you guys hooked up. You get a $20 coupon at Rapala.com. We got you a 15% off discounted Tackle Warehouse. We're giving away prizes from Tackle Warehouse and from TH Marine and Gill's Gear and a lot of other great stuff. So, there's a lot of great stuff for all the students attending the class. It's if you're a subscriber, it's $24, $24.99. If you're not a subscriber, it's $50. And but we hook you up with a lot of great stuff. And of course, you can subscribe to Bass University TV. If you can't make it today, we're going to release all of this content through our normal course of releases through the year at Bass University. Once we edited them and put all the cool stuff that we put in the seminars to help the education process. So,
all right, Pete, let's back up a minute real quick, because are these taking the place of the in-person seminars, or will there be in-person seminars later in the year?
No, these are taking place of the seminars. We're all limited on what we can do with what's happening with COVID these days. So what we wanted to do is create a scenario where people can interact with the speakers, because that's really the best part of our classes, is to be able to get face-to-face and belly-to-belly with the speakers. And so we wanted to try to create the best possible scenario that we could do it. So we opted to use Zoom technology, and our first seminar was just well received. We got great marks from everybody that attended. They had a lot of fun. And here, one of the cool parts is if you ask a question to one of the speakers, you're going to actually be a permanent part of the Bass University programming. So we'll be, your mug and your question will be, permanently fixed in the content, which is pretty cool. And we had some really cool students attend our last program. We had a guy, can't remember his name just now. He was ice fishing during the entire seminar. He was in an ice shanty. He was jacking bluegills the whole time.
Wow.
Throwing them on the ice, asking questions.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep, hanging out, learning some bass fishing while he was catching bluegills. We had another guy building fishing rods. He was working in his shop. He does custom rods, and I don't know how many rods he built, but man, he was busy the whole time, so guys are listening at work. They're, they're at home. They're all over the place. And it's great to be able to interact with them. And we had some, one of the cool parts is, I get to ask some questions to the guys. And we had Ike came on, and this was a really neat part of the seminar. And we try to make this happen every time, but John Cox, arguably one of the greatest sight fishermen on the planet, was talking sight fishing, and Ike called in to dive in a little deeper about some sight fishing stuff with John Cox. So it was pretty cool to see John's reaction, because we surprised him with that with that student. He wasn't expecting that. So but it was great. It's really interesting to see these sight fishing guys dive in on it. Matt, are you a sight fisherman, Matt? Is that part of your wheelhouse?
Yeah, I love sight fishing. Here's the thing: I've never fished in a full-on sight fishing tournament in my life, because for the first 15 years since I moved to Oklahoma, I've always been covering the Bassmaster Elite Series. So March, April, May is prime time for that. So yeah, I'll sight fish, but it's against Jeffries in our one-on-one every year, and then I get some time by myself. But as far as a tournament where I catch them sight fishing, I have not ever been like, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and gone and caught them.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, see, I come from part of the country, and that's why it's so fascinating to me. But we get to sight fish for about 10 minutes up here.
Same in Oklahoma too. It seems like that. It's not like a 3 or 4 month deal. It's like, oh, they're there for a week. Jeffries would be like, we're canceling BTL. We're going to Arbuckle. They're on the beds. Yeah, and you'd get a couple times. Same with you guys.
It's same. And it was always, for me, it was like I was in college, or so I couldn't get the time to go in the spring, so it like blink of an eye and it was gone. So for me, like listening to John Cox is like the way they see fish and assess their movements. And we had Drew Cook and Drew Benton on our live show talking about sight fishing, and those two are just beasts at it, and do things that I didn't even know existed, and methods to trick these guys. So that's the stuff we go for at Bass U, and I think that makes us. I hope it makes us special, because we dive in deep. We don't put time limits or constraints over seasonal patterns or how deep the anglers will go into their topic. We really want that. We want guys to be able to come out of that class, whether you're a beginner or guy like you, Matt, that's going for the elites. And we get a lot of guys like that are looking for that one little edge coming in our class too. We try to provide that, and we work hard to separate ourselves and provide that really detailed content.
Pete, I've thought, Mark, just hold on, because there's been about 3 times in my long tenure with Jeffries that I thought he was just gonna fire me. We're done. Pack up your stuff and leave. One is when he actually did pack up my stuff and put it on the curb, the desk, everything. Remember that one, Mark?
Oh yeah, that was epic.
The other one was at Lake Texoma, and we were doing a one-on-one, and Jeffries got on a pair of bedfish, and we'd had our separate boats, did we not? Or was I in the boat with you? Yeah, but I had hopped in his boat, and Mark was like, dude, we ran out of time. We went back to see these 2 5-pounders on beds. Well, Jeffries, I'm going to catch him. He pulls out a secret little bait, and he's rigging it all up, and he messes with it, and I'm just standing there watching it. Jeffries just wanted to he misses it twice. Well, the third time I just pitch in there the first time, and I jack it. Oh my God, he came unglued on me. I found these fish. I brought you back. These were my fish. I get to do this once a year. You get to fish all the time. I can't believe you're so selfish. You would catch that fish. I said, Jeffries, I just watched you for 10 minutes. You missed it 3 times. I don't care. I mean, I was almost in tears. He was he's so upset at me that I caught his bedfish after he missed it 3 times.
That's very upsetting.
Well, it's so those spawning bedding fish, Pete, are so precious here in Oklahoma. So
I get it, and it's you that's the big trick, Matt. That he just Mark got him all worked up, got him committed, got his gills were flaring, his dorsal fin was up.
Yeah,
he could have thrown a shoe in there with a hook on and caught him on the next cast. Matt, come on, man.
Jeffries takes the bull in the china shop approach. It's a 1-ounce tungsten, a tidy plastic, and he just drills that fish over and over and over. Its 2 options are leave and hide or eat it.
Oh, hey, that was it. It was interesting that you say that, because down at the St. John's, we saw guys blind fishing for spawners and doing it in 2 different methods. And, Hackney was who I thought was going to win, flat out coming into the last day. I'm like, I mean, his momentum is going his way. And he was power fishing, like what I would call more of a power fishing technique with that creature bait. And he could not get those fish to go. They were messing with it. And New was using more of a subtle, super light, stick bait. And those fish were just committing. Very, so there's your lesson, Mark,
All right. I got it, man. Hopefully when July gets here and the ice is gone, we might be able to get a little sight fishing in.
I hope so.
Hey, a number of people want to know, when do you think that the actual on location seminars will crank out again?
Oh man. As soon as I guess we can get the world vaccinated, we're optimistic that, we're already seeing the numbers fall around the country, and that's great. And we love that. And we want to be able to bring them back as quick as we can. We're actually hoping that we can do something in the fall, in the fall or winter, for sure. Next spring, 100%, we're going to be back to normal next spring. That's our, business plan at this stage of the game. And I think that's going to happen.
All right. I'm curious about this because obviously I've done a ton of things with him, but what is your thought and your opinion on what it's like to work with Ike off of the water? Totally removed from what's taking place on the water from a business perspective. I mean, what is that like, Pete? What insight can you give the people? Well,
the most challenging thing is getting a hold of the guy. That's obviously Mike is just, man, he's an Energizer bunny. He moves from one project to the next, from one country to the next, and he's just moving. So and that's great. But I'd tell you what Mike's biggest asset in business is the same thing that you guys see on when he catches a fish, is his just unbridled enthusiasm. He can build momentum and get enthusiasm going with a group, with a team, with a bunch of people. Like, it's really impressive, and it's awesome to feel that when we're working together and we're moving together, all together on the same project. Man, it's great. It's great that way. But in business, just like you see the meltdowns on when things don't go right, you get that too. But
all right.
But I think that enthusiasm, that youthful enthusiasm, man, that is priceless for a business partner.
Very cool. You ever fished a team tournament with him?
Man, I don't know that we ever have. Mike and I don't fish together that much. We've tried to fish a few team tournaments, like these winter leagues that we fish.
Yeah.
We've got to break the ice to get the boats in. That's we've tried to do that a couple times, and we haven't been able to put that together. We fished together several times. We filmed a bunch together, and but we never have fished a team tournament together. My gosh,
interesting.
I can't believe that. We got to change that this year, especially because I'm looking at because that's one of my objectives this year. I'm looking at a lot of team tournaments, on the weekends this year. So I'm gonna try to make that happen this year. I like that idea, Mark.
Cool. All right, Matt.
He'll have some time too. I mean, not some time, but I mean, he's not fishing at the Elite Series or the BPT this year. So, I mean, who knows what far reaches of the earth he'll be in, but he won't be chunks of weeks at a time with tournaments.
There's no way that guy's going to be sitting still for more than about 5 seconds, man. It's like I know Mike's fishing the Opens. He's fishing the Northern Opens, and I think he plans to fish the Northern Toyotas as well. And he's going to film all over the planet. So I don't know what that schedule looks like for him.
Are you going to film your stuff?
Bass University stuff?
No, your tournaments this year.
Actually,
you can't fish a tournament without a camera in it now, Pete. Come on, man.
I mean, it's funny you say that because I was just watching everybody, Kyle Welcher's. I was watching his YouTube.
This is good, isn't it?
Stuff. Yeah, watching how he follows himself in the tournament trail, and I was kind of spying on him on his James River episode because we're going to be hitting that pretty soon. But we're going to be doing live from the Opens. We're going to be doing our web show on Tuesday nights, live from the Opens. I'll be there. Me and Mike are rooming together at a couple of them, so that'll be pretty cool. And we're going to do that. We're going to throw some GoPros in there, and I don't know what it looks like yet. We're still under development with that project, Matt. But hopefully, it's not a train wreck, But
wow.
I am looking forward to the cameras getting the cameras out at Thousand Islands. I'll never forget this. And Mike and I were just going down memory lane on this one. Mike made the classic that he won by fishing. The last tournament was on Thousand Island, and we're coming out of Clayton, and you got to go to the lake. You got to go down everybody that has watched the TV show seen this. You got to go down the St. Lawrence River, and then you run into giant Lake Ontario. And when the wind blows out of the southwest, it's a monster. And it blew out of the southwest for us on I guess the last day of that tournament. But I never forget it because you're coming to the lake, like we're all, the wind's blowing, but the river's slick because it's blocked by the southwest wind. So we're all going 70 miles an hour till you get to Cape Vincent. And then the weirdest phenomenon I ever seen on water is all of a sudden you start to get these pulses where your boat goes up and it goes down real slow. Up and down, and then it starts getting faster and faster. And next thing you know, they're 5-footers, and next thing you know, they're 10-footers, and they're right next to each other. I mean, there's no trough. Like you can't go into them. You absolutely can't. You will submarine every one because the wind is marrying with that heavy current that's getting compressed right there at the mouth. And it causes this weird wave phenomenon. I seen it at Santee Cooper on the diversion canal. Same thing happens there. But what you have to do is you got to run 45 degrees. It took me 45 minutes to get from Cape Vincent to the lake, which is like a mile, and you just you got to go back and forth. But here, as we were going, what you run into is all the other competitors that launched in front of you had ran into the same problem and all made a U-turn. So now they're all piling. They're like, nope, we're not going. And they're all running back into the St. Lawrence River. And I decided to go, and they were legit 10-foot waves. They called them 3 to 4 meters on the Canadian forecast.
Wow.
And I ran, 20 miles out. Mike ran further. And Mike caught enough fish to make the classic. I unfortunately learned a lesson on how to fish in 10-foot waves because I was, the pattern that I had going was just, it didn't work. But then here's the problem is when you're in 10-foot waves and you're what you thought was going to work didn't work. What do you do? I mean, it's not like you can. I'll run over there. No, it's I'll go dock fishing. No, it's not going to happen. So, but I learned a big lesson about that, and we're going back. Hopefully, I know the wind's going to blow. We're going to be there in September, but I love fishing there. I don't look. Tournament fishing there is the biggest challenge. I love fishing there when we can launch wherever we want to launch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy, having to leave and come back from the same place when you want to get to the big water is a challenge.
Hey, at least it's not out of Waddington.
Right? Well, what's wrong with Waddington?
It's an hour further away from the lake, Pete.
Well, that's true. That's true.
I mean, unless you want to go up there in the river, but if you're going to the lake, you remember, Mark, when they were out of Waddington that last time, and Duckett wasn't sure what was a no wake and what wasn't, so he ran everything, and he had 6 police officers waiting for him on the dock when he got back in. Literally, they rolled up and were waiting on him and took him and were like, you ran 7 no wakes in the American side.
Oh yeah,
that's an interesting place. Seeing those big ships go through those little bitty channels and the rock.
And the castles. I mean, you're literally fishing an island that is a privately owned castle on it. You have no idea what's going on in there. You go, what's in that castle?
Yeah, it's crazy. Do you remember, Mark? Do you remember when Rick Lilligard won on Thousand Islands?
I do.
And it was the craziest thing, Matt. I didn't ask you because it was probably
way before his time.
I don't remember that. No.
Yeah.
I remember because this was back when it was an invitational and the 2 guys were paired up together. But I'll never forget because his partner was being so gracious to him because Rick was in a position to win on the last day that he re-rigged Rick's rods for him. Like Rick would catch a bass in the boat and the guy would hand Rick his another rod and every cast he was like boom, boom, boom. He limited out in 5 casts and won the tournament. And I'll never forget his partner rigging his rods. I've not had that.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Out of all the events that have taken place, and I'm talking national tour events in the state of New York, in New England, right? Not talking about the James River, but that northeast quadrant of all those lakes. What is one event that just sticks in your mind about something that was unique or something that was weird that happened, not necessarily to you, but just a characteristic about the event that you're never going to forget? The only reason I ask that, Pete, there's one that sticks in my mind, and I want to see if it's the same thing that you have. So go ahead.
Man, it's I'm going back through my memory banks, and I don't know. I got Thousand Islands on the brain. I remember when up in, I guess it was Lake of the Woods, they were using the rat and the Bassmaster's weird mousy music that they played when that rat was coming across the surface. Dusty Pine, I think that's who that was. But I don't know. I'm thinking of that one.
Who was this guy?
Dusty Pine. Wasn't that his name, Mark?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, he was using the man's rat or something.
Yeah.
Kenneth Dusty Pine.
Yeah. That's the guy.
Really?
Yeah. I remember now Thousand Islands. One of the other monumental tournaments up there was Rick Clun driving back in the 80s across Lake Ontario with a boat that was probably being operated with a compass, just going out and throwing that big spinnerbait up on the bluff walls out there on the lake somewhere.
Yeah. I don't remember that, but I could see that happening.
I remember that. I don't know. I remember Roland Martin running down to West Point and fishing a dock.
Yeah.
Giants, his Okeechobee special spinnerbait. And crushing them on that dock,
How about the shallow run on the Connecticut River?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do. I remember that story. That's another Roland Martin rule, right? Where you can't a jet boat in the tournaments now because of that. But,
I am really deep down the Dusty Pine Google wormhole.
We were talking.
He won the 1990 Bass New York Invitational.
Yeah, 1990.
and was on the winning team of the Bassmaster Team Championship held on the St. Lawrence River in 1987, along with Larry Nixon, Stanley Mitchell, and Chet Doucet.
Doufit.
Chet Dowdett from Florida, right, Pete?
Oh, Dowdett.
He was like, wasn't he a Miami Dolphin?
I don't know. I tried to add a little Cajun twist to it, and it didn't work.
He's from Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he would do Shiner guide trips and stuff, but I think he'd be a pro football player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good dude. I actually met him a couple of times.
I agree.
He was hooked up with the original Gene LaRue. This was, in the 80s, I think, 80s or 90s.
Right.
So, super nice guy.
He was great. I was always great in my interactions with him. So we had Roland on, and I had to remind Roland that he owed his Lake Champlain win to me. Because he ran out of.
I forgot about that.
He ran out of Uncle Josh pork frogs.
Oh God!
He was flipping his jig, and I had a pint of them in my truck, and the fish he caught on the jig on the last day were off of my pork rinds. So that was a big moment for me personally. I was glad to be helpful.
Wow. Hey, Pete, you talked about video. Matt brought it up. Are you guys going to, video this whole thing? And Dave wants to know on the instant feedback, how has the whole YouTube phenomena either helped or hurt or really had no effect on the Bass U?
Oh, well, the YouTube has been we have a good audience at YouTube. The Bass University does, and we're constantly growing and building. We see the value in it over there, and there's a lot of people just that's where they like to be and consume their content. So Terry Brown said something to me that I thought was interesting. Wired Fish. He said, I don't really care if people watch that stuff, just so long as they watch our stuff too, Yeah. And I thought that was interesting because I feel that same way too. There's a lot of places that you can get information and learn, and there's value in all of it, or there's something there of value. We try to do what we do based on, 20 years of professional tournament fishing failures and successes, and using the best anglers in the business to teach and to give the lessons. That's our program. That's our model. That's what we do. And we just are going to keep improving and perform in that arena. And I think people recognize that, what we have is we have a lot to offer. And once they, come over and try Bass U, then usually they're here to stay.
I'll sign up if we can get a Dusty Pines seminar. I want a Dusty Pines St. Lawrence River seminar, and I brick it in. I'm a life member of Bass U then, Pete.
I would love it. We love getting the veterans in the program, and we have a lot of them in our program right now. But there's some targets that I want that we don't have right now.
Like who?
I want to bring Denny Brower out of retirement and get him into the Bass University classroom.
You can lure him with some beanie weenies.
Yeah, is that true? That's an easy one. Your cases, Denny. We'll get
a couple cases of potted meat, and Denny's in.
Yep. We
I don't even know if that rumor's true, but whenever we drink up Denny, I talk about potted meat.
Yeah. Well, I'd love him. Larry Nixon spoke for us before we were able to film our classes early in the Bass University program, and I want to get Larry back into our library. And Steve Kennedy's been a unicorn for us to get, and I want to get some instruction from him because I love Steve because he just is so unique, and how he thinks about fishing and competition, and now he's gone down the swim bait wormhole for the last several years. What has he learned, and what can we all learn from that? So there's just a couple. we have most of who we want. We have the best of the best, and we've got some great anglers today. With Buddy Gross and Gerald Swindle and Harvey Horn are speaking today. We've got great anglers over the weekend on Friday and Saturday with the classic champ Hank Cherry. But one of the guys that I'm excited about is Patrick Walters is going to be teaching about sniping. You watched him down at the St. John's, right, Matt? I mean, he just does not take his eyes off of that sonar unit. It's a live by the sword, die by the sword type of deal. I mean, you're either gonna catch him or you're not gonna catch him. But when you catch him, you freaking catch him. Yeah, 26 pounds, crushed them, and I really want to learn more about that myself. But forward-facing sonar is man, it's winning a lot. And I didn't think it would play at St. John's. Did you? I mean, I thought, no way, this is going to be a bank derby, sight fishing thing, and that did win. But I couldn't believe how well, Patrick did.
I didn't think it would play the way it played. I thought it would play definitely on the shell beds and the offshore stuff with the lack of grass that was in Lake George. But the way that Patrick Walters was able to be like, I'll just do the same thing I did at Lake Fork.
Yeah.
Was kind of mind blowing.
I mean, does he have to get a masseuse after the day's over?
Yeah, so here's the deal. So in the crappie world, they've got these have you ever seen the stand-up desks, Pete?
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, I work at my office, but I'm in shape, and the desk comes right up to your chest.
Sure.
So they've got these mounts now, and I was actually just in a boat with Kevin Rogers. He's fishing the MPFL, and he's been a full-time crappie guy, big-time sponsored guy. Well, he's got a 16-inch screen, and it sits about 1.5 feet off of the ground, mounted right over his trolling motor, and he pulls a couple levers, and it telescopes up, and he's literally got a desk right in front of him, and it's 3.5, 4 foot off the ground. It's dead nuts in front of him, and all you do is you look down, and your 16-inch graph is right in front of your face. Wow. I mean, it's absolutely insane. There's no looking down. It's right there, and it didn't really get in the way. Now, we weren't bass fishing. We were crappie fishing. He said he uses it bass fishing, but I mean, it's a 4 foot pedestal. It looks like a standing desk in front of you. You got this damn TV screen, right? I mean, literally like right here. And you're just like, oh, this is like you're enjoying nature. Like otherwise, it's like when I get done, crappie fishing, I'll do this. You got that point where your neck meets your shoulder, and you push on it, and you just lose all sense of feeling and stuff in your shoulder. It's like just a golf ball of nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that takes it out with that. So I think you're going to start seeing a lot more crazy graph setups like that in the future.
I believe it. Staring, look, because you can't take your eyes off of it for an instant,
Yeah.
Or you'll miss it. So, but I'm excited to learn and grow from it. And, that's something that this year is something that I'm embracing more and more. Is forward facing. I've been using the Humminbird 360 last year. I'm slow to the party, but I spent so much time with it last year that it's just an invaluable tool for me now. And I just can't wait to, get the next advancement of what Humminbird's bringing to the table. And I'll be learning from Patrick on Saturday.
Very cool. All right, Pete, I'm curious on this. We've kind of discussed this in passing comments, but has the game reached the point to where Bass University needs to have a business school? And what I mean by that is it's getting so complicated for the amount of money that's being poured out from a tournament perspective, from an equipment perspective. You got taxes, you got financing, you got insurance. Is that something, maybe an MBA program, Master of Bass Angling, that you guys might be taking a look at? And is that something that you think people would want? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think I'm interested, and we have the platform now that we can handle something like that, because it's probably not the mainstream, probably more guys are interested in, how to fish a ribbon-tail worm,
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of people in this world that, maybe they want to go down the road of being a professional angler. Maybe they want to work in the industry somehow. And there's people that want that. I remember it's funny. I was just talking about this with Mike. That remember Tim Tucker, the great writer for Bassmasters. He had a program out, How to Be a Bass Pro, I think was the title, and it was on a cassette. Do you know what a cassette is, Matt?
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, I know what a cassette is. The problem is I've just found a bunch of DVDs and don't have anything to play them on.
That's all my stuff's going now. It's all digital. And
when I started shooting with Mark, we used cassettes.
Is that right? That's
Yeah.
Well, it was a book, and it had 2 cassettes like molded into the cover of the book, so you could listen to it or read it, and it was great. It talked to us about stuff, not as advanced as the money management like you were talking about, but it was the stuff about how to acquire a sponsor and what sponsors are looking for from a pro staff member. And at that time, it was all about working with the outdoor writers, because that was where there was no internet, right? There was no YouTube. It was all about, getting with writers, trying to provide them with some useful content. Even the first step was helping the writers, providing a boat, getting in the, helping them, working boat shows. Well, and it's still very important to do that. And, volunteering with your local dealer, help them sell boats, bring customers in. If you're helping somebody sell products, you're gonna become a valuable commodity. But that's kind of what it was then. Then it's kind of morphed now. It's all about your social media presence and what you can do there, how you can help a company manage their social media. Sell their products, work with them in that capacity, and it's even going to continue to morph. So, I'm interested. I think there's a market. I'm interested in your viewers and what they would like to see, or if they would find that of value. But I think with the personnel like yourself, the great minds in fishing, Ike has certainly been on the forefront of not only the fishing but the business side of fishing. And, we've got some great talent that can really provide some exceptional training and teaching. So I'm very interested in that, Mark.
All right. We'll see. With the expansion and so many more people having to do certain things just from a financial perspective to be able to do this, I think that would be a great addition to your program for those people that obviously want to pursue the next level of whatever tournament trail they want to fish.
I agree. Our ears are always open to what the next thing is and what the people are, what the anglers are most interested in learning about. We always try to be there on the cutting edge, and we're definitely there. I remember now Frank Scaly spends a lot of time on your show.
Yeah.
And Frank and I got started about the same time, but I remember Frank was really, he was really strong at sponsor management and that part of the business. I remember talking to him early in my career and working together. We worked together with Pradco and became friends, and a lot of valuable information was transferred back in my early part of my career between me and Frank. So it's cool to see him on your show.
Yeah, Frank's been a great addition. And, he's one of the first guys on the Elite Series, and even prior to that had a major non-endemic sponsor that got involved with the game. It wasn't before the Crown Royal thing that was going on. That was really, when you talk about outside the industry sponsorships, the Crown Royal, would you agree, was really the first, strongest. They spent a ton of money on that sponsorship program.
I was so jealous of those guys.
I'm trying to get a Crown Royal peach wrap for next year.
A what?
The Crown Royal peach wrap.
Crickets.
Peach. Can you hear me?
Peach.
Oh. Peach. Yeah, the peach wrap.
What is the peach wrap?
You don't know what Crown Royal peach is?
No.
Oh my gosh. Around here, you walk in and it says limit 1 per customer. You only buy 1 bottle at a time. Stuff is way too good, Pete.
Oh,
nice. Limit myself 1 bottle a month. Crown Royal peach and Sprite.
I love those guys. Those guys always had bottles of Crown Royal in their trucks. They always had their entry fees paid. I was pissed.
Everybody wanted the purple boat and the purple truck.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Aaron Martins was on that team.
Yeah, Peter T.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that was cool. But yeah, Frank's been a great addition, and very excited about some other things that Frank's going to be involved with in the future. All right, man. I don't know if you can talk about it. Can you talk about what boat and motor you're going to run?
Oh, I'm already in a Bass Cat with a Yamaha.
Okay. Some people were asking about the whole Evinrude thing. You were an Evinrude guy for a long, long time, and they wanted to know. Yeah,
that was shocking, wasn't it? How that all went down. I think it caught everybody by surprise. But yeah, I've been running Bass Cats since 2013. So I've got a new Cougar, and I've got the Yamaha on it, the 4-stroke, which is really, it's really cool. It's the first time I've ever run a 4-stroke, so it's been great. It's been a steady boat so far. I think I took it sometime in August or September of this year, and I'll run it through this season with the Bass University wrap, which is getting installed here very, very soon.
All right, cool. Matt, anything else for Pete?
No, that's it. Looking forward to seeing him out there this year, the Opens, and watching some Bass U.
Yeah, that 9 tournaments, Matt. You were taking on a load, man.
Yeah, I mean, I figure if you're gonna go in on it, you gotta go in on it, right?
Yeah, that's cool. What are you most excited about this year?
So I'm trying to take the approach that I'm not getting high or low on anything, because you get low on one, and then you go in with a bad attitude, and then you get high on one, and you go in and it doesn't go as planned, and now you're depressed over it. So just take it all as an event where someone's going to finish in the top 40 in all of them, and try to figure out a way to be that guy.
Well, that's great attitude. I know we had Byron Velvick on the Ike Live show, and he was talking about his advice he received from Rick Clunn, which I thought was really cool. That he said you got to make sure you have one lake in your back pocket, like one lake that is your go-to, that you're uber confident in. And I don't know if anybody's coming close to where you live, or there's any lake like that on your schedule that you might consider your home lake.
Grand's about 30, 45. But here's the thing. In the top 100 guys who fish Grand, I'd put myself somewhere around 1,000. You know what I'm saying there? But yeah, I mean, I'm very familiar with Grand. Not like Hallman familiar with it.
Yeah.
But more familiar with it than any other thing on the schedule.
Well, I'm optimistic that there'll be some kind of catastrophe at the Oneida Lake Dam, and it will drain, and we won't have to fish that this year.
I've heard that it's coming back. I've heard that they're targeted the fish in there now, and it's good to go, and everyone's going to just have 20-pound limits of smallmouth, and it's just going to be a cornucopia of excitement and success.
It doesn't matter what they could be 20 pounds in every single boat, but somehow mine will have 2 fish. It has been the bane of my existence, that Oneida Lake. I don't know what happens, but it's like a black hole for me. But I don't know. I keep talking negative. I promise myself every year I'm going to stop hating on that lake. And but this is the year I'm going to stop hating on it.
Would you say that lake, though, out of all the lakes that you fish in your tournament, handles pressure the worst?
Yeah, I think it really does handle pressure the worst, and I think the smallmouth there behave differently than most other smallmouth in lakes in the northern part of the country. I'm used to making adjustments. I love smallmouth fishing. I consider it one of my strengths.
Yeah.
But I get exposed big time on Lake Oneida, and I keep making adjustments, and now this year I think I got it figured out now.
You got the game plan. Dude, the crazy thing was we were doing a media event on Oneida, and it was right after an Elite Series tournament. No one had been on Oneida, no tournaments. I roll in. Mike McClellan was like, "Hey, we got an extra day. You want to go fish with me for fun?" I said, "Hell yeah." He said, "We'll go to Oneida." I said, "I'll show you what Oneida can be like without fishing pressure." And I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever. I've seen it before." We put the dang boat in, and in 30 minutes had 20 pounds of largemouth. And he said, that's what happens with fishing pressure with just 3 days of practice on that. He said this lake is phenomenal. And I mean, it was insane. It's just 3, 4, 3, 4 down just that grass patch. Every dock had 3-pounders on it. He said that's what this lake is like without fishing pressure. He said you take 1 day of practice with 200 guys on it. He goes, and we would not have had a bite.
And that's so crazy because you see people rank that lake as like top 10 lake in the country. And I'm like, these guys are smoking crack. There's no way. This is like, just like you said, you can go hours, half a day without a bite there at times, and but it does have them. It does have them. I'm going to retool and give them hell. And I'm really looking forward to the James. I love fishing the tides and the Chesapeake stuff. And revisiting the 10-footers on Lake Ontario, high on my bucket list too.
Yeah, that's a hell of a schedule for you. I mean, you've got 2 wheelhouse tournaments and one that you're familiar with, even though you just talked bad about it.
Yeah, it's not. I like it. It's a good schedule. The schedule that I actually like more is that Toyota Series schedule for this part of the country. It's going to be on Champlain, the Potomac River, and then it's going to be at Waddington, which is an unknown for me. But the Potomac and Champlain are probably in my wheelhouse more than any other bodies of water. So I'm probably going to cherry pick a few of those tournaments if I can, But good. I can't wait. I can't wait to get fishing this year.
Hey, Matt, Pete, what's the name of that lake that's right by Oneida? Is it Onondaga? Yeah. Is that right?
Nuclear lake where you can't eat any of them.
Yeah.
It's like, right. Yeah, it's insane.
You need to go fish that lake, man.
That place is crazy.
It is crazy good. Every fish there is just like an absolute football, largemouth, smallmouth. And it's so small. I guess it's getting a little bit of fishing pressure now.
Yeah.
Tiger muskie.
I bet it has them. Have you?
No, it does. I know. I've caught them. Bobby Lane and I caught when I was filming. Like I said, none of this people aren't just like, hey, let's go fish. It's like I'm filming, doing work. After we're done, we fish. You caught like 6 or 7 tiger muskies on spinner baits, just burning it down the bank.
Yeah, that's cool.
Not big. About 30 inchers. Nothing like not like in fisherman muskies.
Yeah. See, people underestimate the power of nuclear waste in advancing fish population.
Highly underrated.
Unbelievable.
We see it all the time around here.
Yeah. Hey, let's see here. Kyle wants to know what your personal best smallmouth is.
Oh man, I'm going to say 6 pounds. I don't think I've ever broke 7 pounds, Kyle. But I just started carrying a Rapala scale in the boat, believe it or not. For years, all I kept in the boat was just the balance beam. And I remember the first, and here's my personal best. It came on a Carolina rig, smallmouth. Is that one of your deals, Mark?
Oh, yeah.
Love it. And the best place to fish a Carolina rig for smallmouth is Lake Champlain.
Yeah.
And I was in Mallett's Bay, and it was the first year. It was the second year Bassett going there. First year it was way back in the 90s, and but yeah, it was so old. It looked like it had wrinkles on its gill plate. It was just a big, giant headed and long, really a long body. Not like a goby football, but just really long, like a perch eating smallmouth, and that was the biggest smallmouth I've ever caught. I'm guessing him at 6. He might have touched 7 pounds. But good fish,
You didn't know Jeffries was booked to do seminars on the Carolina rig? It's called Carolina Rigging Through the Decades. An intuitive look back with Mark Jeffries.
Yeah. You should have seen. You should have seen.
Pride of the Brush Hog.
That's right. You should have seen Matt when Frank said one of his favorite ways to fish was throwing a Carolina rig.
Oh man.
Did
that upset
Matt can't. He can't stand it. Pete refuses to throw it.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say, I gotta weigh in here, man. It's one of my favorites. It has been through the years. I won my first tournament on a Carolina rig back in '99 on Lake Martin with spotted bass, and I've caught smallmouth. I love fishing that tool. It's great transmission bait. It's a lot of fun to fish. And
let's not get carried away here. I believe all the way up until it's a lot of fun to fish line. You had me up until that, Pete. You can admit it, even though you like it. You don't have to beat around the bush.
That was awesome.
Dude,
that was really
throw
good.
It into the wind, 100 miles. You don't have to worry about.
No, you can't. The thing goes woo, woo, woo.
No, it doesn't.
Backlashes you.
Does not.
It bangs up against your rod while you're running, and then you go to make a cast, and your rod folds in half.
Oh, man, that's funny. You're talking about
when you break off, you have to tie 9 different knots.
That's so funny.
Jeez.
It's so funny how you're hating on it, and I love it, but I hate the drop shot for that exact reason.
Oh, the drop shot's easy, Pete.
Oh, man, the weight.
Oh, you're missing the boat. It's so much fun to fish.
It's tangles with your rods. The weight comes.
Oh, yeah, you're out of control.
I know.
I can't argue with the guy who's won opens though and has done this spring professionally. You know what? If the sea rig's better, it's better.
That's right. All right.
I just enjoy it. I like fishing. I'm glad you do too, Mark. When you come out here next time, we'll go Carolina rig fishing down on the bay.
Done. Consider it done. All right, Pete. I can tell by the comments and the instant feedback, several people have already signed up for what you have going on today. They want to know, when should they expect to get that email with the Zoom link?
We're going to be sending them out every hour or so. We let several people sign up, and then we group them up, and we send you out the link to get access to it. So we will make sure that you're taken care of. I promise you. Jocelyn's Johnny on the spot for us. She's amazing at customer service, so you can expect to get taken care of by her immediately.
All right. There you have it. In case you want to do it, where do they go and what do they do? Real quick, Pete.
Well, I'll send you here, bashu.tv/ticket. bashu.tv/ticket. Just go there. It'll give you access to all of our classes that are available right now. And come on over and check it out. And welcome to Bass University.
All right. There you have it, folks. Pete, great stuff, man. Always really, really like having you on the show. So stay warm, take care, and wish you the best with this new digital platform and the tournament season too, man.
Thanks. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Looking forward to fishing. Looking forward to today's class. And thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. And good luck to you this year, Matt.
Thanks. I plan on just riding that Carolina rig all the way to the elite series.
Jeez. Taking grief. All right, Pete. Take care, man.
All right. Have a good one, guys. Thanks.
See you. All right. Yeah, it's just us old guys, Matthew. Seriously, when's the last time you've thrown it? Can you remember the last time you threw a Carolina rig?
I'm honestly trying to think. Yeah, I had one. I threw one for a couple casts with a 10-inch worm at Sam Rayburn through the brush because it was getting so much pressure this year. And I thought, everyone's throwing a jig, threw it. And I broke off after about a cast, and then I just got on top of them and drop shotted them instead. Caught a 6-pounder doing it.
Yeah, good choice. Good choice. All right, man. That's going to wrap up today. And don't forget, what time does it start this afternoon? I don't remember. Was it 2 o'clock? I don't want to give it time. Check it out. Just go to their website, and you can find out all the info over there. All right, tomorrow we're going to talk kayak bass fishing with Drew Gregory, the reigning Angler of the Year on the Hobie Tour will join us tomorrow, and we'll talk a little kayak bassing. You know what I saw on the news, Matthew? They were sledding in a canoe. Now, I know it's not a kayak.
Yeah, that sounds dangerous.
Yeah, but it looked pretty fun. I might do that.
I think you'd be much safer in a kayak than
Probably
sledding in a canoe. Yeah. When was the last time you went sledding? Did you used to go with AJ and Mark Jr.? Did you ever take them sledding?
I think a couple times. We'd go to the hill down on Highway 9.
I could see you throwing elbows as you go down the hill.
Maybe. Massive snowball fights. But this snow that we're getting right now, it's not wet.
It's not
fluffy.
Fun snow.
No.
Ours has little ice crystals in it.
Yeah. Jason wants to know if you're going to put out a sweater vest for BTL?
Maybe the next run that we have, because the store's only going to be open for like a week or two. Because I ain't trying to do this, full time. Basically, it's going to be a run, whatever orders, and then they do it. So.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, stay warm. Jeez, I don't know what else to say. Because that's the story right there. Just keeps coming. 6 to 8 inches starting this afternoon here in Oklahoma. So we'll see, man. Try and stay warm, Matthew.
That works. That's good stuff with Pete.
Yeah. Really, really good. All right, folks. No music show tonight. If you missed it, KJ is going through some challenges, power outages in Texas, and all kinds of other things. So we'll get that rebooked and do it another night. So tomorrow, Drew Gregory. Thursday, back with Frank Scalish, and then a special show on Friday with Ken Duke. So another jam-packed week. Everybody out there, try and stay warm. Be safe. That's it. We're out of here.